Hey guys, Pontic here, and today I'm going to be doing a bit of a special video, I guess. Basically, uh, someone was asking if I could do a video on kind of strategy and my thought process as I was playing. So yeah, I'm going to do just that. As you can see, I took Pontus, and my opponent was Bactria. So this isn't going to be a normal just playthrough. I'm going to probably put on slow-mo, explain my thought process on the build and what I'm doing and everything. So let's go ahead and just pause it for now, and I'll kind of walk you through just so you can see what I'm thinking as I'm going through. So yeah, for the most part I'm not too big on counter picking unless it's, I guess, in a tournament or something, but you know, just normal quick battles and stuff like that, I kind of just go with who I want and then change the build accordingly. So I went ahead and chose Pontus, and he chose Bactria. It was about at the same time, so that's, I mean, I didn't counter anything, I just chose because I wanted to be Pontus. And then my build, we'll start over here. Alright, so I have 4 Pontic Swordsmen with a Pontic Swordsman General over here. I have a Pontic Peltis on this side and 1 over here. 2 Eastern Archers in the middle. 4 Celtic Warriors on this side. 2 Mercenary Scythian Horse Archers. 4 of these Cappadocian Cavalry. And a Chariot unit. As you can see, all 20 slots were filled up with this army. Now, obviously I don't know my opponent's build, so basically my thought process behind this was, obviously archers and peltists are there in case he has elephants. So, I mean, that would be enough, I would think. Plus, all the javelins these guys carry. I'm pretty confident that any elephants, I would be able to stop them pretty well. So, basically that's my anti-elephant thing. And, pretty good cav, basically the best Pontus has, plus my chariots. I'm not sure how these stack up actually against noble horses. Oh, they actually might be a bit better. I don't know. I've never actually done 1v1 that, but for the most part I was pretty confident because these are pretty good cavalry, like in the game. They're pretty awesome. So basically these peltists were to help. They were against elephants, but I was also keeping them on my flank to help with the cavalry fights. That would help definitely turn the tide of my battle. So that's why my peltists are on the outside. Notice too, I have this big hole in the middle. That was something I actually saw one of my friends do when I was playing him the other day. Pretty interesting idea. So I decided to try something similar. Basically, big hole in the middle. It's gonna hopefully force him to split his forces to engage both my guys. So while he's coming, he's going to have to fight like this, which will allow me to kind of envelop him. And you'll notice too in a second, he'll leave this hole open so I can go through there. You'll see that more explained later on. And then I always like to bring horse archers for most of my builds because they're great at harassing. So I'll go ahead and put it on play. I'll slowly start moving my main infantry body forward, but I'll bring my horse archers up first and harass with them. So going over my opponent's build, he has 6 of these thorax swordsmen for his front line, 2 Thurios spears, 1 on each flank, 2 of these mercenary Syrian archers, 1 peltis unit, 4 Bactrian noble horse, and then a Bactrian royal cav general. So pretty balanced army. Now you see he does move his Thurios spear to the side, and that's something, you know, they have javelins, so they can be quite dangerous. So that's good job on my opponent's part, making sure he's using his Thurios spears like this. So that's something I'm going to have to be aware of. Notice too, I start to pull back because I don't want to get too close, because looking at this distance, their range is probably to about here. And that's something you have to keep in mind, the range of the javelin units, which you can't see because it's the enemy unit. So something just you get used to when playing. So this is a field of zone I try not to enter, but notice too sometimes, like, he's running backwards right now, he's not going to be able to fire at me. So this is when I charge in, try to get some shots off, you know, just moving my guys up since he is not prepared to throw javelins. So I'm able to move in a second. Yep, I'll click out. And notice too, for horse archers, you don't want to just give attack commands, right click on a unit. It's better to usually move in, get into range, and then just pull out. And since these horse archers have Parthian shot, they'll fire automatically. Now I did have the problem, I wasn't wanting to focus on his Therial Spears. He's actually wanting to attack these Thorax Swordsmen, since these are more of a threat to me for frontline engagement. But yeah, their shots were kind of what over here, which is not that big of a deal. So he's moving his archers over here too, which, I mean, their range probably around here-ish, give or take, I would say. So be careful not to enter that zone. You can enter it and pull out quickly before they do fire, but it's a fine line. So my infantry is moving up a little bit slowly, just harassing with my horse archers. And now what I'm thinking is basically do as much damage as I can with this while slowly moving forward. And then seeing his line, his Thorax swords are definitely better than my Celtic warriors, and they're better than Pontic swordsmen. But what I did was I took my Pontic swordsmen off of formation attack, and sometimes that can help turn the tide, but I'm pretty sure Thorax swordsmen still win. And that actually leads me to something else I want to talk about when you're playing. Yes, you can look at strategy and, you know, try to copy people's builds, or even just the way they set up their army and whatnot. But an important thing for this game is knowledge. And what I mean by that is just playing the game. Practicing is what helps, but knowledge comes when you actually learn about the different units. So for instance, if he chose Bactria and I chose Pontus, it would help to have the knowledge of who Bactria can get, like all their different units and how good those units are. So Bactria, their main infantry is going to be Thorax swords. That's really the main thing they have, and so I expected Thorax swords. They have the really good Bactrian spears. I can't remember what they're called, Bactrian hoplites or whatever. But you know, you could expect a couple of those for the most part. Thorax swords, and then they have some weaker spear units and Therial spears and things like that. They have pretty good cavalry, and you know, they have really good archers they can recruit. So just knowing this, so you know what to pick, that's an important thing. Knowing the factions and knowing their units, so you know what units to choose yourself. So yeah, just doing some going around doing some shots with my archers, mainly trying to split him up so he's not, see how he had both archers here and a Therial spear. So I'm going to try to attack on two fronts, forcing him to split up his units, and he can't quite focus on both of them. And notice he moves both of his archers and his Therial spear away, so I'm able to quickly get in here with my horse archer and fire in. This time I do get attack orders just because no one else is around here, and I want to just make sure they're firing on these Thorax swordsmen. Notice too, I didn't mention this earlier, but when I started, my horse archers were on the left side. The reason I did this is because this is the unshielded side. As you can see, since I'm on the right side, they don't have extra bonus for blocking missiles, so you can do a lot more damage this way. So make sure you're firing either on the unshielded side or even the back. And that's why I always use my horse archers and putting them on the left side. So he brings his Therial spear forward, I just move back. I get into range with my own archers, and you see, I'm just going to start firing on these Thorax swordsmen. Now, I mean, they have pretty good armor, plus I'm shooting at their shield, but I figured I can whittle down by focus firing. He is going to bring his archers forward, but I'm just going to completely ignore them and continue to fire at his Thorax swordsmen. He's moving to push my horse archers back, but I'm not too worried about that. As you can see, getting some shots in here. Before his Therial spear is going to catch me, I'll just retreat back. And yeah, so I'm just kind of attacking him with my missiles from all sides. And I'll happily take the skirmish engagement. Obviously, his two Syrian archers are way better, but I'm not worried about his Syrian archers because I'm worrying about his infantry line. Because if I can chew through his infantry quickly, then he won't have anything to protect his archers, and I'll be able to hold up his cav, and I'll have the advantage there. So yeah, I already took out almost 20 of the men, about 15. Doing some just rearranging with my Scythian horse archers just to make sure he's not running up close on me. Because yeah, I don't want to accidentally leave these guys here and then they're able to run up and get a javelin throw. So you see, he's going to start moving forward. But notice what I'll do. Here, I'm moving backwards. I'm not ready to take this engagement yet. That's something you have to be mindful of. never let your opponent force you into fighting if you can help it. So he's moving forward, but I'm not too confident about engaging him yet. So what I'm going to do is pull back a little bit, and then I'm just going to continue firing on his thorax swords. See, getting some more kills there. Move up, try to get some shots over here, but don't really do too much there. Just continue with, try to get as many kills as I can. You can actually see his force splitting a little bit now. 3 going this way, 3 going that way, doing what I want him to do. And in a second, yeah, I'll move back again because I'm still not ready to fight yet. But you can see I've taken out quite a bit. This unit's at half strength now, which is going to help me a lot. He's slowly moving forward. And in a second, I'm going to bring my horse archers just to distract him. He's going to have to deal with these guys, so the skirmish mode's kind of messing with him there. But yeah, I'll move these guys around. Whoops, that kind of went weird. Moving back slowly. And then in a second, I'm going to turn around and start firing again. And yeah, once we get into the main engagement, I'll have a lot more to say. But I'm feeling better now that this unit's practically gone, that I can win this fight. He's moving his cavalry, so with him moving his cavalry, obviously I need to do something to prevent him from just charging in. I'm going to move my own cavalry over here as something to just guard against his cavalry. See, his Thurio spear has been chased way off, not even close to the rest of the fight, so I'm happy with that. Just going to let him chase me. Same back here, just running this guy. I do kind of get caught here because I was going to try to go into the back of his archers, but that's not that big of a deal. He does move his cavalry, and they kind of just keep running, which he must have given them orders and then kind of forgot about them. But I'll keep on guard there. So I'm finally ready to start to engage now, so I'll put this on slow motion. My archers did pretty good job. One of them is practically dead. The other one's actually hasn't taken too many losses. So I have local superiority. That's something that quickly to mention. So although he might have a bit better units, if I can get local superiority, which means he might, well, in this case I do have more infantry than him, but say we had the same amount of infantry or something, or even if he had 1 or 2 more, if I can isolate just a couple of units, like over here, he doesn't have much support with his other infantry, or even his cavalry is not very close by. He only has 3 of these units, so I have local superiority with 4, plus my 2 cav and a peltis unit, against just 3 thorax swordsmen. Notice, I should probably use blue. See, all of this is kind of isolated from other stuff over here. All of his other units are kind of far away. So really, it's 4, 5, 6, 7 units versus his 3. And I have local superiority, and that's something I want to make sure to use to my advantage. So I'm charging in, notice, and I'm going to try to bring this guy around. Now my flank does get a little messed up. I probably could have put him around better, but I don't want to just shove both of these guys into one unit. So I'm going to bring him around. My peltis is going to be firing in. Same thing over here, charging in. This unit's about dead too. And notice I'm going to get a quick charge of my cavalry off beforehand. Try to disrupt his charge, and unbraced units I'll be able to get a good amount of kills. Which, yeah, the charge isn't perfect. But again, try to bring this unit around, but bring my peltis up, and now I'm going to pull my cav out. See, his thorax swordsman's already starting to waver. My cav disrupted his guys back here. It's just a horse archer, so it's not going to do much, but it did stop him from firing for a little bit. I'm kind of saving my chariot. Notice his cavalry on this side coming, so I have this Celtic warrior. These surround this guy. This peltis is helping, but I'm going to help bring him back and help with the cavalry. Got my general to help support too, and then I'm bringing my 2 cavalry units over here to help. And now I'm going to start using my chariot to go through this huge hole I have. And all the while my archers are firing in. Now he does send his general unit in, but it's not going to do too much damage. And notice too, one of my cavalry is over here. And yes, I brought my other cavalry over here. He has his cavalry way over here, so I wasn't too worried about just staying here and waiting. Put this on pause again before something happens over there. So I was going to bring this guy around, start doing some hammer and anvil strikes, and try to take out this Thurio spear. Then in a second, I'll bring this guy up through the middle and help just hammer and anvil away. And I'm starting to bring my chariots in. I'm going to go forward to push his archers back, and then I'm just going to sweep through here, take out as much as I can. Now, his 2 cavalry units on this side are coming in. So I have one of my Celtic warriors are holding down this guy, and in a second, you see they're about to charge in. I have my Peltist, which I'm bringing back, and I'm going to try to reposition them. And I'm bringing my cavalry over here to intercept these guys, and then my Peltist will help fire in, and then I have my general here to help with that too. Again, having that local superiority. He does get a nice charge into these Celtic warriors. Yeah, quite a bit of them get taken out, and into these Peltists. But in a second, my cavalry will move to intercept. You see my cavalry over here charging into his Thurial Spears. I have this one here kind of just protecting, but in a second I'll notice he's pretty far back, so I'll try to move him. So, chariot coming through. And yeah, so at this point things are looking pretty chaotic. Got a lot of units around the field. So, my focus. You notice my focus, I just popped my general abilities, which will help. I'm moving my chariot through, which is where a lot of my attention has to be focused on. I threw my Scythian horse archer into his archers just to... I don't expect him to win, but they will just hold them up. My cavalry unit over here is moving for support. Now over here, I did charge into the back of these guys. While I'm letting them do their damage there, I'm kind of focusing over here. I'm losing my Peltist over here, and I still haven't moved my cavalry. Notice my micro is a little off this game. Some of my guys are starting to waver, my Celtic warriors, which aren't the strongest. I send this unit to engage, try to help out, and I have these two units I'm about to, I should be starting to give them orders. Notice too, I can see these units way off coming in the distance, and they're going to start coming back, plus his general, so I'm going to have to definitely do something to counteract that. Go ahead and put it on play again. Chariot going through, I'm about to reverse him. My general fighting against these noble horses is going to do pretty good. I finally get my cavalry, give them orders to charge into these guys sitting here, and my extra unit over here. My infantry is doing pretty good on this side, but I notice these cavalry coming in, so I bring my Peltist around, try to get some shots off, and just hold them after they charge. Bringing my general, or not my general, my Cappadocian cavalry to support. And I'm going to start pulling my cavalry over. Notice I'm already giving some orders to attack his general. Bring my chariot through, try to help wrap up things over here. See, my Scythian horse archer still doing pretty well over there, not dying too quickly. But yeah, trying to think. Basically, I mean, my thought process. I guess I could try to explain a little more in detail. Trying to go in slow motion. I'm doing pretty good over here. I have plenty of infantry, and I'm going to start trying to move them around. You notice in a second I'll start trying to bring some up and some down. Not too worried about his Thurial Spear because they're at half strength and not really doing anything right now. I'll bring some in to support this fight, which my cavalry is doing pretty good. We'll hold against that for now. My chariot I'm going to try to bring through against these infantry and more cavalry. Just try to hold his cavalry right now. Any other units that came back from routing, like a couple of these, I'll just throw them into the fray just to provide bodies, really. See, I'm about to get charged right there. My general, he's doing well, actually holding against these noble horse, so I'm not really worried about anything over there. Again, routing unit, just bring in, try to get bodies over here. In a second, I'll realize this Cappadocian cavalry's here, and I'll pull him out, but he's doing pretty good against these cavalry over here. So, I got those holding there. Not much I can do about these Peltists or anything right now. I do have this cavalry unit, but in a second, I'll actually bring this unit to attack these guys, and then move him up. That's my thought process. I can't really do anything until this guy gets here. So, I do bring my chariot to try to do something. And, yeah, I'm trying to just hold off. Obviously, these Eastern archers are not going to do great, but if I can just hold his general from, you know, coming around and hitting my guys over here, or supporting this fight over here, then that'll be great, just to hold him off for a couple seconds at least. Again, just grinding out this fight over here. Not much I can do. Just waiting for these guys to kill this Thorax Swordsman so I can use them for support. And, so yeah, that's basically what I'm doing right now. It's kind of just a waiting. I have most of my stuff engaged. I have ideas of what I want to try to do, but I have to wait till they finish off the units they're fighting. So again, over here, notice I do start to chase this guy, but obviously that's not going to work. So in a second, I'll move my Celtic warrior into this fight. I move my chariot away from these guys just to try to take out this Thurial Spear. So yeah, here I move my horse after these guys and send my Celtic warrior into these noble horse, so I can try to take out his skirmishing support. Again, my general is doing pretty good, so not too worried there. I am starting to lose these guys over here, but I just freed up these two Thorax Swordsmen, So I'm moving one in to support this fight over here, which is actually going pretty well against these noble horse already. And the other one, I start to move up against the Ethereal Spear, but you see my general actually shoot through him pretty well, so I'm already giving orders to support this fight over here against his general, which he's throwing in. Again, some routing units came back. I'm going to throw them over here. Notice too now he charges into my general, so I pop my ability that I have restored in a second. I'll actually put my general into shield wall so that they'll hold even longer, because they'll do pretty good right there. Shield wall, as you can see, it gives them a bonus for melee defense and armor. As you can see, yeah, it finally popped. So now I'm just worried about finishing everything else up. I have my chariots free, so I can go ahead and just plow them into here. Some extra Celtic warriors I'll move. My horses are finally free just to chase down these remaining skirmisher units. And now he just has his general, so I'm really just doing a mass attack order to try to take this guy out. And yeah, that's basically the end of it. Not much else to it. Is another Ethereal Spear, I believe. Yeah, but they're not going to be able to do much. So I'll go ahead and just fast forward through this. Really just cleaning up. So again, just mass attack order there. Moving my chariot through. Try to get these guys taken out, and they'll start routing. And yeah, there's the end. So I hope that helps. It's kind of a little all over the place with what I was saying, some of the stuff I was talking. I hope it all made sense, is basically what I was trying to say. So yeah, basically, I guess the main two things when playing it comes down to is the first being practice. Practice. That will help, just so you know with the different units how they react and what they're good against. And the other thing would be knowledge. So for instance, if I just go to custom battle, he had Bactria. So if you're looking here and he chose Bactria, you should know generally about what they have, which obviously they have elephants, a big thing to worry about. Their main infantry is going to be thorax swords. That's what a lot of people bring, but make sure you're aware of the Bactrian Royal Guard. They have skilled thorax hoplites. They have pikes, pretty good archers. They do have a cataphract, but I don't know, it's kind of expensive, so I don't see a lot of people bring it. And they have decent melee cav and a good shot cav. They do have horse archers, and yeah, that's basically their general army. So, for instance, when I was doing the build, I had a couple of these guys. Something basically like this. Let me just and then a chariot, right? And the money's way off, but that's not important. And then I noticed I had a couple extra talents, whatever, and I threw some upgrades on my guys. As you can see, it's something you want to be aware of. Upgrades can help quite a bit. So obviously my Celtic warriors were no match against his Bactrian or his thorax swordsman, and these guys were gonna lose too. So obviously I had to do something to rectify that. So if you know that they have better infantry, you have to bring something to give you the edge. And basically for me that was these peltis, which can definitely help. See, they have 41 missile damage. I think it's 12 armor piercing. Yeah, so pretty good guys. They're pretty awesome units. And this was basically what would help me win the infantry fight, but also my chariot unit. That would definitely be a tie turner. So if I didn't have a chariot, say, if I didn't want to bring the chariot, I don't have as much as an advantage now, and I'll definitely have to get something. So, I could get like a shock cavalry. This Pontic Royal Cav could do a lot of damage, or even another peltist, something like that, just to help win the infantry engagement. So these are just the things you have to keep in mind when you're playing, and a lot of it comes just with practice. As you play more, you learn which units, go against which units and will win. Also keep in mind the stuff like shield wall. If you have formation attack off and you put shield wall on, your units can last a lot longer and sometimes even win against better units. Slightly better, not if they're too good. Obviously, you're gonna lose still. And there was one more thing. Which unit was I gonna say? I don't remember now. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Upgrades good too. Oh yes, what I was gonna say is for instance, say for faction law, the barbarian ones, such as Boii, these levy freemen are great units. Obviously their stats are not too good. They have good bonus versus large, but they do have javelins, which is something that's great to keep in mind. Which units have javelins? And basically, almost all units. From Celtic warriors, a lot of these infantry, they all have javelins that they can throw. A lot of the spears have 2, I believe, that they can throw. So that's something great to keep in mind. Cheap units like Levy Freeman can be super useful. So yeah, just something when you're going through the different factions, if you just look at them, you gotta learn their, I guess, special abilities, because if you look, it doesn't say that these guys have javelins, but it's something nice to keep in mind. And these Iberian swordsmen, again, I guess right off the bat, they don't look like great units. I mean, they're decent. They have low armor, but these guys have what? I think they have 5 javelins they can throw, and their javelins are ridiculous. So I mean, Lusitani and Carthage both have access to them. Definitely, Iberian swordsmen would be something you'd want to bring, just because they double as basically a peltist unit, but they also can be an infantry unit, which, I mean, obviously they're not going to do great in combat, but their javelins, something to keep in mind. So that's, yeah, just really knowledge and practice coming down, so you know what each unit has, their special abilities, so on and so forth. So yeah, I hope this made sense. But yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and just leave it here. And one thing to note, Attila videos are coming soon. I'll do some online ones. I got a tournament I'm hosting for Attila, so hopefully should have some videos for that up. And my Visigoth campaign will be coming soon. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.